Good morning, and welcome to Sunday live stream worship with First Unitarian Church of Hobart. My name is Tina Porter, and I am a member of our worship committee, and I will be facilitating our service this morning. It is great to be with you all again. First Unitarian is at the moment in the midst of a search for a settled minister. During this time of transition, during this search for professional long-term leadership, we are a lay-led congregation. As such, each week going forward, we will be blessed with guest speakers. Some Sundays we will hear stories and reflections from members of this church. Some Sundays we will hear teachings from visiting ministers from our own faith tradition, and sometimes ministers from other faith traditions. Today, I'm happy to introduce that we will hear from Patricia Riley Churilla, a member of our congregation since 1991. She co-leads rituals at Wheel of the Year with other members of the Covenant of UU Pagans, or CUUPs. We will also be blessed with the cameo appearances by longtime member and longtime student, Kelly Ivy. Our thanks today, as always, go to our consistently excellent technical crews of James Johnson, John Halstead, and Valerie Lambert, who together make our remote worship possible. Today, Brian Porter will make his debut as moderator, so please be patient in the event there are technical glitches. We are again grateful to our music director, Jeremy Jacobson, for his creativity, his singing, and his music and his art. During this service, you at home will be able to generously share your offering via PayPal. By the way, the link to PayPal is located in the video description on your screen. There is one announcement today. A congregational meeting has been called for July 19th after worship. This meeting is to discuss erecting a Black Lives Matter sign in the front of the church. More information will be available in the weekly update and on our website and Facebook page. And finally, happy Father's Day to all our fathers. We know that like Mother's Day, this holiday can stir many emotions for different people, so let us hold space for those many emotions as we wish each other well. Now let us move into an attitude of reverence and worship together.
The opening words are from writer Madeleine L'Engle. She's well known for A Wrinkle in Time. She was born in 1918 and died in 2007. This is from her book, Ring of Endless Light. A great ring of pure and endless light dazzles the darkness in my heart and breaks apart the dusky clouds of night. The end of all is hinted in the start. When we are born, we bear the seeds of blight around us, and death are torn apart. Yet a great ring of pure and endless light dazzles the darkness in my heart. It lights the world to my delight. Infinity is present in each part. A loving smile contains all art. The motes of starlight spark and dart. A grain of sand holds power and might. Infinity is present in each part. And a great ring of pure and endless light dazzles the darkness in my heart.
please join me as we do our virtual chalice lighting and repeating the words on your screen. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, a sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And now will you join us in opening hymn number 73 in our gray hymnal, Chant for the Seasons, and we'll sing it through 2 times.
Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Gliding are the hearts, hovering above the hot and yellow hillside. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Crickets in the night, chirping in our ears, the sound of moonlit music. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Gliding are the hearts, hovering above the hot and yellow hillside. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us. Crickets in the night, chirping in our ears, sound of moonlit music. Vernal clouds have turned the star wheel, summer is upon us.
You join with me in speaking the affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. Service is its prayer. And this is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
From all that dwell below the sky, let sons of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sown, through every land and every tongue.
Good morning. I'd like to begin with a brief meditation from author Glennis Livingstone, presented for this service by Doug Mitchell, also a member of both the First Unitarian Church of Hobart and our CUUPs chapter. Breathe deep and draw in all the air that you desire. Fill yourself to capacity until you can draw in no longer. Feel the fullness at the peaking of your breath. Hold it a moment. Feel the urge to let it go. And exhale. Again, breathe deep, filling yourself to capacity. Feel the fullness and the urge to release it. Feel the letting go. Feel this sacred interchange of the fullness of being and the pouring forth of it. One more time. Thank you. We've been waiting, and yesterday it happened. Summer arrived officially. We've seen it coming. Flowers are in full bloom and the bees are buzzing about. The birds have raised their broods, and for some, this is just the first of several before autumn comes around again. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Life has prevailed over the winter to renew itself again and is now in its glorious fullness. This is a moment of pause. To use a common phrase, this is hang time. So yesterday at 4:53 p.m. Central Time, the sun took its longest and highest path through the sky. It passed directly over the Tropic of Cancer, which is a circle of latitude about 23 to 24 degrees north of the equator, giving us in the Northern Hemisphere our longest day of the year. That circle of latitude is the farthest point north that our sun will rise before it starts its 6-month journey southward again. After today, the days will begin to shorten. As we think about the summer solstice itself, it's helpful to remember that the word solstice comes from the Latin word sol, meaning sun, and sistere, meaning stand or stand still. Therefore, the summer solstice is the sun's hang time. Having reached its peak, it pauses before it begins its seasonal decline, or at least that's what it might have looked like to the earliest observers. While the exact religious narrative differs from culture to culture, and indeed from pagan to pagan, in some traditions, this is when the young god and goddess who personify nature itself enjoy the prime of their lives. They're young and free. She is pregnant, and for now their work is done, and they have time to just wait, and time to live. This is how the tales of the gods and goddesses were woven. Of course, no one really knows for sure, as the earliest people who told these tales didn't write them down. And even if some of them could have, few of them at the time could have actually read the words. Maybe some of the earliest storytellers dreamed that the sun and the earth interacted with each other in a cycle of dances, so they anthropomorphized them in order to connect with them. In most cultures, the sun was designated as male and the earth as female. What happened to this sun man and the earth woman also happened to the inhabitants because they were the same. As the sun seemed to lose energy, so did the earth. Plants died, animals hibernated, and all became still. But then the sun regained his energy, the earth began to warm, plants shot up green and vibrant again, animals came out of their dens, and life was abundant. These stories were told to the villagers around the fire, who internalized them and told them to their children, who in turn told them to their children, and so on until they became a sort of canon. But being pagan isn't always about gods and goddesses. In fact, some pagans are atheists. Our own John Halstead contributed to and edited the book Godless Paganism, Voices of Non-Theistic Pagans. For many of us, being pagan is not strictly about the theology. For some of us, it is about attuning oneself to the changing of the seasons, what is commonly called in paganism, the turning of the wheel of the year. So how do we do that outside of a theological narrative? How do we attune ourselves to the seasons in an applied sense? Connection. Most pagans see time as a circle or a spiral rather than a straight line from point A to point B. Briefly, the wheel of the year is a cyclical system of observations tied to agriculture and fertility. When the wheel turns to the months of increasing light and warmth, it is time to sow the land. When the wheel brings us to the longest day where we are right now, it is time to appreciate life's fullness with joy and pleasure. When the wheel turns to darker and cooler months, it is time to reap what we have sown. And when the wheel comes round to a world of cold and darkness, it is time to ration that which was reaped until the wheel turns to the increasing light, and it is once again time to sow. Attuning to the wheel was easier to do when some of us were growing up. I remember a family on the block where I grew up set up a stand every year from late spring through early fall to sell seasonal fruits and vegetables from their prosperous garden. Everything from the first asparagus to the last of the pumpkins. And they took down the stand for the winter. I remember a time when you could go to the store in the winter and couldn't get a fresh peach or green beans. Do you remember family members canning fruits and vegetables and putting the preserved jars in a cool, dark place for storage? If the family was to have a variety of foods throughout the dark season, these would have to last, so we put up as much as possible. Today, our food is shipped in from all over the world, and tinned food has become a staple. Everything is available all year round. That's not totally a bad thing, but it means we've lost much of our connection to the seasons. We've removed ourselves from what it means to look forward to the natural world. The specialness of a good summer peach has been replaced by our demand to have fresh peaches at will. We have moved from being a part of nature to being apart from nature. The most real and deepest part of paganism for me is connection with each other, with life itself, and with the earth. That's hard to achieve in our modern world. We dress for success, which often includes well-covered skin and uncomfortable shoes. We live, commute, and work in temperature-controlled boxes, sometimes walking through stale-aired public garages to get to our jobs. We sleep in rooms with closed windows to keep out the elements, the bugs, and the noise. The modern lifestyle is just not conducive to connecting to anything or anyone. I'm not blaming us. Bills have to be paid, mouths have to be fed, and we do have to tend to those things first so as not to feel too stressed to connect. I'm suggesting that we should do something about it. Briefly, especially in these times of political, social, and economic discontent, with a pandemic hovering overhead, and we are feeling very stressed. So what can we do to connect with the natural world? When the weather is warm and the sun is bright, dare to dress sleeveless when you can get away with it, and toss on a lightweight jacket to cover if necessary. Then between tasks, take just a moment to step out into the light. Remove that extra layer and let your skin feel the warmth of the sun. Feel where it is the hottest on your skin. Turn slowly in the sun to feel it as it moves across your shoulders and warms you on one side while you cool down on the other. Breathe the light and warmth into your body. Let it pass through your skin and into your very being. Connect. Step out into the rain and a warm summer shower. Notice the smell the rain leaves behind in the air. Feel the wetness of the droplets, their temperature, the force with which they land as they fall onto your face. Pay attention to how they slowly move over the contours of your cheeks, your nose, your arms, your legs. Connect. Take just a 5-minute walk without a cigarette, or pitch a tent, even if it's just in your own yard, to bring some fresh air into your lungs. Notice everything you can about the air. Does it have a particular smell, like fresh black dirt or pine? Is it humid or is it dry? Is it still? Is there a breeze, or are there gusty winds? If it is windy, stretch your arms out and feel it. Let it pass through every pore in your body. Connect. Take off your shoes and walk on the grass or in warm, gritty sand. Recognize how you change it by stepping onto it. Feel its temperature, its texture, and how it gives to the pressure of your steps. Yet feel how the earth below it supports your every move. Connect. Our congregation's Buddhist, Jerry Ashmore, may refer to this as observing. You focus on the moment and just notice without judgment or commentary all the things that moment presents to you. Observe. Connect. When you do any of these things, however briefly or however long, just listen to your body. Without putting yourself in harm's way, pause and focus. Hang time. Imagine there are no boundaries. Feel yourself dissolving into whatever element you are experiencing. While you are in this summer season, take moments to experience this hang time. Sure, you have projects that are on the burner that can't afford the luxury of time off. Again, we are modern. We are not farmers. We have electric lights, air conditioning, microwave ovens, and deadlines. Our needs are now dictated by the clock, no longer by the wheel. But this is as much about taking care of yourself as it is about being able to take care of your tasks and projects. Even the sun and the earth pause. Connect. And I'm going to take a moment to pause. In the words of Mary Oliver, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. That, my friends, is connection. I know you think you don't have time, but you do. Trust me, you won't regret just a pause. Seriously, you can make up that 5 or 10 minutes elsewhere. Set aside time to connect. Take just that moment for self-care, or call it a mental health moment, whatever you like. Enjoy the moments as you are able. Especially enjoy this moment, the hang time, when we pause from the work of the sowing and enjoy ourselves before the reaping. In this time of continued separation and semi-isolation, connect with yourself. Listen to your body, your mind, and that still small voice inside. They are your best guides. Do what they tell you to do to connect, to reconnect, or to stay connected with nature. You'll come back feeling a little less stressed and ready to turn your focus back to the task at hand, which is where we go from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia, for those wonderful words. And I'm going to be ready for a pause after this for sure. Now is the time for our offering. You are able to make an offering through the PayPal link that will show up in your chat. Please remember also that you can send a check via snail mail if the PayPal is not an option for you. So please don't forget that you can also send checks. We'll take some time for our offering, and then we'll go into our closing hymn, Spirit of Life.
Closing words are from number 681 in our hymnal. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you.
1, 2, 3.
Will you join me now as we virtually extinguish this flame, extinguish the chalice? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.